Red Bull is much more than just a manufacturer of energy drinks. Red Bull supports sports teams and has its own fleet of aircraft. Watch this video until the end to find out the truth about World War II warbirds with Red Bull logos and much more. Welcome to Aviation.live, I'm Nicholas and I'd really be happy if you click that subscribe button underneath this video. Most of us know Red Bull as an energy drink manufacturer and a sponsor for football teams and ice hockey teams. That's true and it makes up the majority of Red Bull. Still a lot of people know about the RedBull AirRace and about the stunts sponsored and organized by Red Bull. The RedBull AirRace is exactly what we'll start this video with. From my analytics I know that most of my regular viewers are from the United States, where the RedBull AirRace is much more popular than it was here in Europe. On the other hand, I live in Austria, where the first RedBull AirRace took place in 2003. Since then it has evolved until its peak in 2019. Once RedBull AirRace was officially the FAI Aerobatic World Championship. Pilots had to fly a tight course around pylons, either standing on land or floating on water. They flew several rounds and the pilot who flew the best and the fastest won the race and became points for the World Championship. Finally, after the end of the season, the pilot with the most points, of course, became World Champion. RedBull Air Races took place in countries all over the world like Austria, Hungary, Abu Dhabi and the United States of America. As location, they usually chose motorsport tracks or military airfields or bays or rivers. The whole thing was organized in a similar way as Formula 1 races and was meant to reach high popularity. Unfortunately, this didn't work out that well and in 2019 Red Bull stopped sponsoring the event. In the 1990s, Sigi Angerer met Dietrich Mateschitz at an airshow in Austria. Angerer was an airshow pilot and owned an FAU for Corsair. Mateschitz was the owner of the Red Bull company. They became friends and founded the Flying Bulls. Today the Flying Bulls own a huge fleet of historic aircraft like an FAU Corsair, a P-51 Mustang, P-25 Alpha jets and the last ever built Douglas DC-6. You won't find such a unique collection elsewhere in the world. The Flying Bulls formation flight is quite special because it consists of a P-25 bomber and an FAU Corsair from World War II and two Alpha jets from the Cold War era. You will see the Flying Bulls at all big airshows in Europe and England. They also appear in big sports events just as the Kitzbühel downhill race or the Grand Prix of Austria in Formula 1. Besides the Flying Bulls, Red Bull also sponsors several other flying teams, just as the Czech Aerobatic team. Czech Aerobatic team was already founded in communist times in the Czech Republic and now consists of two Extreme Air XA-42 aircraft flown by three very experienced pilots. Some of them are even fly in the Czech Air Force. Just as the Flying Bulls, you will see the Czech Aerobatic team at every bigger airshow in Europe. Formation flying in the world of aerobatics is nothing new at all. We don't see formation flights with aerobatic gliders that often. That's exactly what Team Blanix does. Two Austrian pilots fly the Blanix L13 aerobatic gliders in a tight formation, usually with smoke and classical music. Blanix team is also present at several air shows and even in some Red Bull sponsored stunts. Several years ago, Paul Steiner did a stunt where he climbed out of one Blanix glider and into another Blanix glider. This stunt gained a lot of attention in the internet. The maybe most well-known kind of aviation event organized by Red Bull is the RedBull Flugtag, meaning Red Bull Flying Day. The RedBull Flugtag took place for the very first time in Vienna, Austria and has since then taken place dozens of times. These were mostly in completely different countries and cities all over the world. Flugtag is clearly an advertisement for Red Bull energy drinks. It's a competition where sportsmen build their own flying machines and jump off a tower floating on the water. The goal is to jump and fly as far as possible, and I guess the world record is something about 70 meters. At each Flugtag there are hundreds of thousands of spectators watching the event. Make sure to find out when the next Flugtag will take place in your region. If you've been watching aviation related videos this year, you definitely know the Red Bull plane swap. This was a stunt where two skydivers tried to jump out of their Cessnas, swap planes and jump back into the other Cessna. Their request of doing this stunt was denied by the FAA, but this didn't stop them doing it. In the end, they actually tried doing it in the American desert and failed. One of the Cessnas crashed and the pilot had to use his parachute to land safely on the ground. The Italian Dario Costa is one of the best and most successful aerobatic pilots worldwide. In 2021 he flew his H540 aerobatic aircraft through a 1.6 kilometers long tunnel in Turkey. By doing this he broke several world records and has gained over 2 million views on YouTube.
The last huge and important event
Organized by Red Bull in the world of aviation is the Air Power. The Air Power takes place every 3 years on Zeltweg Air Base Styria in Austria and is, according to Red Bull, world's biggest air show. This year in 2022 over 300,000 spectators came and visited the Air Power. At the Air Power you will see military planes from all around Europe, aerobatic teams and even cargo planes from all over the world. The Air Power is mainly held by the Austrian Air Force, Red Bull and the Austrian government. For more details you can watch my videos about the Air Power, and if you have noticed, most of my short videos were made on the Air Power 22. These were the most insane events and stunts made by Red Bull in the world of aviation. Do you still have some ideas about aviation and Red Bull that I forgot in this video? Write it in the comments, I'd really be interested in your ideas. Thanks for watching this video and we'll see each other in the next one.